Hi everyone, my name is Carmen Mertz. I am a teacher and I work for Connections Engineering Outreach through the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science at Queen's University. Thank you for joining me for this workshop. Now, during this video, we are going to be talking about two concepts, engineering and biodiversity. And after you watch this video, you are going to be an engineer who is going to be using something called the engineering design process to create an app that aids the biodiversity in your community. So make sure you're paying attention so that you know exactly what to do. Now, to start off, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever heard the word engineer before? Pause the video here for a moment and think to yourself or talk with a friend or family member about what the word engineer means and what an engineer does. The main job of an engineer is to solve problems for people. And there are many different types of engineers that create many of the things we use every single day. A chemical engineer makes the medicines that help to keep us healthy. A civil engineer designs and builds the homes that keep us safe and warm. And computer engineers build the computers and smartphones that we use to communicate with our friends and our family. Now, all of these engineers follow something called the engineering design process. And the engineering design process are a series of steps that engineers use when trying to create a solution to a problem. So the first step all engineers do is to create a plan. This might be conducting research or drawing or sketching out what they want to build, and even making a list of the materials that they're going to need. Once this has been done, the second step is to create or build their project. Now, once the build has been completed, then they're going to conduct tests. One, to make sure that their project works, and two, to make sure that it's going to be safe for people to use. Any problems or changes that need to be made will then be fixed or improved in the final stage of the cycle. Now, it's really important to note that there's no engineer on the planet that only goes through this cycle once. This is a continuous cycle that happens over and over again until the engineer feels they have created the very best possible product. So as you are an engineer this afternoon, don't be afraid to go through this cycle a few times and continue to fix and improve your app to make it the very best it can be. Now, I also mentioned we are going to be talking about biodiversity. Now, biodiversity describes the variety of life on Earth or within an ecosystem. It's important to remember that even though all of the bacteria, plants, animals, and humans are very different, that we are all connected. So let me give you an example of how humans, plants, and animals are connected in my life. So earlier this spring, I planted a bunch of wildflower seeds. I didn't just do this because I love flowers. I also did this because I know that it's really important to the plants and animals in my community. Flowers provide nectar, which is food for bees, and bees spread pollen, which helps for other plants to grow. Without these bees, we wouldn't have as many plants. And we know that plants are really important to us because they provide us medicine, they provide us food, and they also help to clean the air that we breathe. So, your task today is to use the engineering design process to develop an app that improves the biodiversity in your community. So, something that helps plants, animals, and humans stay healthy and working together. I also want to mention that on Saturday, September 26th, from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m., we will be joining the Kingston Frontenac Public Library Science Literacy Week, and we are going to be hosting a live Q&A session about this workshop. We would love if you joined us to ask any questions or to share the app ideas that you have created. Now, in planning our apps, it's important that we look at the apps that already exist. So there are many apps that exist that support biodiversity. These apps allow people to identify and report invasive species, identify different types of trees in their community just by taking a picture of a leaf, assist in monitoring the migration of the monarch butterfly, and to help people find local recycling resources and figure out the recycling guidelines in their community. So let's talk about what a successful app looks like. So every app should have one main purpose, and it should be designed so that everything is centered around that purpose. So think about the Snapchat app. Snapchat has many different features, but its main purpose is to share pictures and videos. So that's why when you open the app, it automatically opens to a camera with a large button that allows you to take photos and videos. So this really draws your attention to the main purpose of the app. Now, successful apps also cater to their target audience. They are simple and intuitive, and it's really important that they are polished, creative, stable, fast, and of course, unique. Something to point out is the two-tap rule. It's recommended that whenever you open an app, you are able to achieve something in only 2 taps. So it's really simple and easy to use. I'm going to get you to pause your video again and take some time to think about your favorite app or an app that you use on a regular basis. Does it have some, if not all, of these features? All right, your first step is to grab a piece of paper and a pencil and plan out what you want your app to do. Remember that the very best apps focus on doing one thing really well. So as you're planning, ask yourself these questions. What is the name of my app going to be? What is the problem my app is going to solve or the opportunity it will provide? What are the features my app's going to need? And what are the goals of my app and how am I going to reach these goals? So pause the video here while you create your plan and press play when you are ready to move on to the creation stage. All right, welcome back. I hope your planning went well. So now we are going to create our app. So I'm going to get you to grab a pencil and a piece of paper or some markers or pencil crayons, whatever you have handy, and sketch out the different scenes of your app and decide what the aesthetic layout is going to be. What is your app going to look like? Remember that it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to make changes. Engineers are always testing and fixing their designs to make it the very best it can be. So press play when you are ready to move on to the testing stage. All right, the testing stage of the engineering design process is very important. As engineers, it is our job to make sure that our projects or our builds work and that they're going to be safe for users. So pause the video here and take a look at what you've planned and designed for your app. Is it going to appeal to your target audience? What is your app going to achieve? Is your app user-friendly? And what are ways you can improve your app? If you do notice any problems or things that you want to change, go ahead and do that to make the very best app that you can. Thank you so much for participating in this video. I really hope that you are able to get a better understanding of what engineering is and that you are capable of being an incredible engineer. I would love to see the app that you have designed. Please feel free to connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or by email. Thank you so much. Have a good day.